The studio lights burned hot, the cameras rolled, and the air in the room was thick enough to slice with a knife. The moment Piers Morgan leaned forward, his voice booming across the set, everyone knew they were about to witness one of those interviews that would live on for years. "You're dodging the question, Mr. Kennedy," he barked, his British accent sharpened by irritation. "Are you saying you know better than every scientist, every economist, every elected official who's put their life's work into this issue?" Robert F. Kennedy Jr. didn't flinch. He sat there, still and steady, his hands folded, his eyes locked onto Piers like a man who'd been through storms far louder than this one. Around them, the audience stirred, some nodding with Piers's challenge, others watching Kennedy with quiet curiosity. The debate had gone on for nearly an hour, and it wasn't about data anymore. It was about something deeper: truth, conviction, and the courage to stand alone when everyone else shouted you down. Piers was relentless. "You call yourself a defender of truth, but your truth seems to shift with every platform that gives you a microphone," he shouted. His voice echoed off the glass walls of the London studio. "You've criticized the establishment your whole life, and yet you rely on it to spread your message. Isn't that hypocrisy?" Kennedy's team, sitting just off stage, exchanged anxious glances. The man was under fire, and it was getting personal. The tension felt almost unbearable, like watching two trains race toward each other on the same track. But Kennedy didn't interrupt. He waited. He let Piers finish his barrage, every insult, every accusation. Then, in the silence that followed, Kennedy leaned forward, his voice quiet but cutting through the noise like a bell. "Piers," he said softly, "you mistake conviction for arrogance. You think the loudest man in the room is the most certain. But real certainty doesn't shout, it endures." The room froze. Kennedy didn't stop there. His tone carried no anger, only weight. "I come from a family that's buried more than its share of dreamers. Men who were told they were wrong until history said otherwise. I don't argue to win, I argue to awaken something not in you, maybe, but in the people watching, who still believe that truth can come from the unpopular voice in the room." Piers blinked, taken aback. The rhythm of the show had changed. Kennedy's calm was disarming, almost haunting. "You accuse me of hypocrisy," Kennedy continued, "but let me ask you something. What's worse, a man who doubts the powerful, or a man who stops questioning them because it's easier to belong?" The audience broke into murmurs. A few even clapped quietly. Piers, visibly flustered, tried to respond, but the usual fire in his tone had dimmed. Kennedy wasn't debating anymore, he was teaching, reaching into something human, something raw. "Loud arguments don't build bridges," Kennedy said, glancing toward the crowd.